You're listening to Film Seizure. This is Geoff.
And this is Jason, and you can catch us on Wednesdays weekly talking about some sort of movie.
Yeah, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search for Film Seizure. And as Jason said, check us out each week.
Yes, your Wednesdays should be less crappy because of us, we hope. Maybe. Or more crappy.
Or more crappy.
Who knows?
Either which way.
Wednesdays are always a crapshoot. Why not give us a try?
Exactly. Can't say it any better than that.
My boyfriend, he's all in the mood. What do you think?
I like my burgers medium rare. Whoa! She gets this way sometime. Goodbye. We have some squirrels inside the cage.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. This is another episode of Film Seizure. I'm Jason Oliver.
I'm Geoff Arbuckle.
Oh boy, today we've got we've got a gem of a movie to talk about today.
Remember when we talked about Raw Force?
Oh man, you know we loved some Raw Force.
Oh man, then we got another one.
Oh yeah, we do. And this is has the distinction of being our first request. Movie that we watched. This came to us via a coworker of mine who said that this movie, her name's Kristen. Shout out to Kristen.
Yes, thank you so much, Kristen.
Holy moly, we're so appreciative of this one. This movie was recommended by Kristen via a friend of hers who funny enough had a mail subscription of Netflix back in the day. And this came instead of, I don't know, probably Carrie 2 or something like that, right?
Oh, yeah, the rage.
Yeah. So she watched it. She's like, well, I mean, I got to send it back. I might as well watch it. And yeah, this movie fell in her lap. And it's, I guess, been kind of passed around that circle of friends as this really amazing bad movie. And so finally it kind of came our way, and we watched it tonight. And oh my gosh,
we're not disappointed. I mean, being that this is an Echo Bridge Entertainment release, I bet we could get it for $2 on Amazon.
Oh, easily. And it's
I bet it's on Amazon, or I bet it's on YouTube.
And it's a Miramax distribution and Dimension Films. I mean, this thing is weird. It's got some actual distribution firepower behind it.
Yeah.
And the cast is pretty good for the time.
For the time, for direct to video.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do much better. But so the movie's called The Rage.
The Rage.
I'm not sure what it's raging.
Yeah. There's a lot of rage.
I guess
in the movie, but
I guess
there isn't a singular rage.
There's a lot of car chase.
Yes.
It should have been called Car Chase the Movie.
Car Chase the Movie. Yeah. So yeah. All right. So let's talk about who's in this movie first. We've got Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah.
Is in this movie.
Renegade.
He is our kind of hard-boiled FBI agent.
He's got a little bit of scarred history.
Yeah. We find out that he was at Ruby Ridge, and
of course.
Yeah, of course. And
why not?
And when the massacre at Ruby Ridge and all of that. So he's all scarred from that experience. And then we've got Roy Scheider, who is his boss, who was also at Ruby Ridge, who was at the head of that.
Yeah, so he was the head of that operation.
Yeah.
It went awry when a dumb guy with a gun on the FBI side decided to shoot a dog and then shoot a child.
Yeah.
And then shoot other children.
Yeah. And then a bunch of children died. Yeah.
Yeah, and so basically Lamas got protected even though he was kind of the deputy. It kind of ruined Roy Scheider's career.
Yeah, like he never was promoted again after that. He thought he was going to be director of the FBI one day. So he's got this grudge against Lorenzo Lamas, but it's
does.
Really weird. Like ever since Ruby Ridge, he's been looking for a reason to get Lamas fired, and it's this stupid subplot that goes places but no really
it all leads to generic ending.
Yeah, totally generic ending, which we'll get to. So we've got those two kind of at play, and then we have the upstart FBI agent, super intelligent,
Clarice
Starling type of knockoff.
Yeah, she's basically set up to be like the up and coming FBI chick.
Yeah,
you know,
we'll
it's
call
like she's gonna be the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah, we'll call her Clarissa Nightingale.
It might as well have been her name. I didn't know her name.
And so, Roy Scheider's kind of got this hackney plan to make her the boss of Lorenzo Lamas on this serial killer case that they're working.
Right, basically selling it like, hey, she solved this other case in 3 weeks, which, I mean, I guess that's impressive.
She's gonna see you for being a total fuck up and give me the reason to fire you that I've always wanted.
I think basically he's expecting her to fail, and then blame it on him.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
something
know.
like it's stupid.
It's bullshit.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because the real star of this movie,
Yes,
is Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. So that requires
right.
some explaining.
Yeah. So let's talk about the bad guys.
Well, let's talk about the very first thing that happens in this movie, because that's the perfect introduction for these two characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the very first thing that's going to stand out on this DVD box or in the IMDb listing
Yeah, there you go.
is Gary Busey.
Yes.
He is our villain in all of his crazy fucking glory.
Oh my God.
And we are introduced at the very beginning of this movie. I mean, seconds after the title card comes up.
Yeah.
We see Gary Busey and his, I guess, girlfriend.
His kooky, crazy girlfriend.
Driving around, and she's like in this, like this leopard top, and
Yeah.
she's like wanting to feel him up while he's driving. He's like, "Nuh-uh."
He's like, "Don't touch me there.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me."
Don't touch me. Anyway,
And then, out of nowhere, she kind of exclaims. She looks ahead on the road, and she says the words, "I see some squirrels up there. Let's get naked."
yeah. And I'm like, I'm into this chick.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like, what the fuck are we watching? It's bizarre, and what ends up happening is they spotted some campers,
Yeah.
like at a campsite or something, and they go like a family basically. They go and they massacre them. They kill them all.
But she's dancing around with her top open
Yeah.
and playing with her tits.
Gary Busey sits down at the picnic table and tells
And
the
he's-
guy to make his steak rare or something like that.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, she gets this way," and just like
It's
he's part of the
bizarre.
family, like he's the creepy uncle. Which, let's face it, Gary Busey's all of our creepy uncles.
Yeah, it has kind of like this natural born killers feel to it. Like it's very unhinged, and it's kind of creepy, honestly. But it's also kind of like, whoa, what is
yeah,
is
it's
this
like
movie?
it's like crazy. It's like it's got a little bit of mutilation. It's got rape. It's got, basically everything that could be bad happens to these people.
Yeah, it's pretty clear from the start that these are our villains.
Yeah, but I get introduced to the love of my life.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll talk more about her.
Jeff is so enamored by this character.
She is, because she is so interesting and so kooky. I love her. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
So they're kind of the center of the I don't know, the antagonism of this movie, these two characters. But so we see this scene of violence.
We don't know really what's going on.
We don't really know who they are.
We don't know who they
why.
are, what this is, who these people they're killing, why they're killing them. They're just sadomasochists,
Yeah.
really.
So then the next scene, immediately after this, we meet Lorenzo Lamas in his cop car with his partner.
Well, it's not the partner. It's the yes man to Roy Scheider.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, because you get the sense that he's been trying. Roy Scheider's kind of got his lackey that's always with Lorenzo Lamas, trying to get him to fuck up, find out when he's going to fuck up so we can fire him.
And he's reckless himself, basically, to try to pin it on Lamas.
He's incredibly reckless. So they're on some kind of stakeout. There's a whole lot of law enforcement in this town.
Yeah, a lot. Like the
a
entire
lot.
town is law enforcement. It's law enforcement Texas is where they're at.
Yeah, and the local sheriff, the sheriff deputies are all there. Like it's crazy, and they're watching this van.
Yeah.
And some kind of shady deal goes down. And they're like, "We got him!" And they all converge on this van, and this van takes off, and it's car chase time, right?
Yeah. It's oh my god.
And it is quite possibly a top 5 most spectacular car chase I've ever seen. And I'm not even saying that ironically or sarcastically.
Go fuck yourself, Bullet. Go fuck yourself, French Connection.
It is the most ridiculous car chase I've ever seen in some ways.
So they basically go through this entire town with Lorenzo Lamas and the Yes Man chasing at. Lorenzo Lamas is driving. Yes Man is hanging out the window, shooting at the van.
Yeah.
Van just driving around, swerving.
Everywhere, like as reckless of driving as you can imagine.
Hitting fruit carts, whatever you got on the street. It's trying to
running people over on the street. Like,
yeah. And so Yes Man is like just fucking firing bullets out into the crowd.
Everywhere.
And like Lamas is like, dude, fucking shoot at the fucking van.
Yeah, he's like, what the hell?
He says, Jesus
Christ, like
he says
over
that
and over again.
Yeah.
Because he's right. He's like, he keeps telling him to shoot at the tires.
Yes.
But all this guy is doing is just wildly shooting. At one point, he's got his gun on the hood of the car. He's not even looking at where he's aiming and just firing his gun off.
Yeah.
It's
so
amazing.
Well, what makes this even more amazing is that outside of town, there's this little horse track where there's like the little equestrian like show happening where like they're jumping over the little hurdles and everything. And here comes the cars like
they're like on the horse track.
They're on the horse track and people in the crowd are just like watching.
Yeah.
And it's getting closer and you think like, well, one of these people are going to start like to move, but they don't move until like the cars are like plowing into the stand.
So now they're like going over the jumps. They're going like over the jumps of the poles, and then the horses were going over. Horses are like rearing up and scattering. People in the bleachers are like, what's going on?
And like people are like in the background like pointing like, what's going on there? It's like, get some cover, assholes.
Oh man.
But nothing would be complete in a car chase until the van like fucking plows into like the bleachers,
yeah,
and blows up.
It blows up.
Everything. The bleachers were made out of gasoline, I guess, because everything just blows up.
Everything just blows up.
And
things flying, like parts of the van that weren't even attached or in the air.
Things that were yeah.
I mean, it's just this random shrapnel.
Yeah, and so like basically they miss out on being able to capture these people. It's like Scheider shows up and like I think is basically trying to say it's like, oh look, you got another.
You're out of control. Yeah.
Yeah. Pulling the whole you're a loose cannon.
Yeah, and Lorenzo Lamas is kind of like I was.
It's your fucking yes man.
Yeah, it's your
asshole.
Crazy fucking guy who's like firing wildly into the crowd.
Yeah, basically like endangering civilians and not caring. Yeah. Like in fact, I think at one point somebody had made the mention that they don't care that civilians are in harm's way. But now another great thing about this car chase. So they basically, I mean, like this is like, I don't know, 45 minutes of a car chase.
Yeah, it's
insanely long.
It's 59 minutes of a 90-minute movie.
So, but what's funny is that all this time that these cars are doing like this high-speed chase, the rest of the law enforcement Texas, which is like the whole town of law enforcement people, are just running on foot behind them, and they catch up.
Yeah, they catch up. They get there. Oh, that's another thing too. Like when this car chase initially starts, you see all this huge army of law enforcement everywhere.
A fucking army is right.
And they all start firing their guns in like a public square.
Yeah,
there are civilians all over the place. And
pedestrians, kids.
And they're firing guns from every angle. It's amazing. Like,
yeah, the entire town died that day.
Yes. It was the
that place is a ghost town.
It was the massacre of Texas Town or whatever.
Yeah, law enforcement Texas. So... All right, so then Roy Scheider introduces Mrs. Lips.
Yes.
So our what'd you call her? Clarissa Nightingale.
Clarissa Nightingale, yes.
So she shows up. She's like the most generic '90s lady that you'll ever see. Like she looks like a cross between like Juliette Lewis and Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon, yeah.
And she has like the most perfectly like pouty, puffy lips of anybody who's ever lived in the 90s. And, so, like, they introduce her as, like, oh, she's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to the FBI.
Yeah, she's like a superstar.
And, like, Lorenzo Lamas is like, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Which I think is most of his lines are like,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
pretty
blah.
much. A lot of this movie is characters just saying some things.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I'm saying
things.
this to you, you're saying something back to me. Yeah, this you don't watch this movie for the dialogue.
No, you watch it for these fucking car chases,
Yes,
man.
and for Gary Busey and his kooky chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We're getting there. I can't wait. So anyway, so now like this investigation begins, and they're like, okay, well, what do we know about these killers? Like, okay, the bodies that are left behind are mutilated.
Yeah.
They're missing their hands and their feet.
Yeah, maybe.
Basically, anything that can identify them.
And they found
forensically.
and they found semen and blood from like 12 different people or something. I think they said
Razor blades in the vagina.
razor blades in the vagina. Ugh. Yeah. Oof.
There's a reason for that later.
Yes,
though.
there is.
So basically, this movie wants to be Silence of the Lambs, where you have this weird sexual killer that's doing mutilations, that's a little off, and you have lady FBI agent and FBI director who wants to basically get ahead from making these choices.
Yeah.
Basically, you have your Clarice Starling and Jack Crawford, and then you have Lorenzo Lamas along for the ride.
Yeah,
this is what would happen.
Lorenzo Lamas is kind of there to brood. That's his whole kind of deal. He's a hard-boiled brooder.
Yeah, you wouldn't hire Lorenzo Lamas for your Silence of the Lambs, and so maybe you probably wouldn't want him for the Rage.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of pointless.
Yeah, he is. Other than to punch Gary Busey at the end and light him on fire.
I want to know how many cigarettes he lights and then throws.
Out. He does so many '90s things. So this is a Miramax movie, or at least it was distributed by Miramax. And this is in that nebulous time of the mid '90s, where Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction hit it big, and Quentin Tarantino set the standard for what cool was for their main protagonist.
Everybody wanted to make a cool crime movie.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wrote a cool crime.
Yeah.
I did.
Shit, I did too.
Yeah. And everybody did something weird.
In fact, I called my '90s smart crime.
So everybody basically wrote their cool guy to do something weird with cigarettes.
Yes.
It's littered throughout the '90s, and it's a bad trope. And so Lorenzo Lamas keeps on lighting the cigarette. Sometimes he pulls a cigarette up to his mouth that's already lit.
It's already lit, yeah. It's ridiculous.
And it's like, so I guess that was already lit inside the package?
I forgot, yeah. And he'll take a drag or two, and then he'll throw it out. A full fucking cigarette. And he never finishes one cigarette in this whole movie.
Now, these are American Spirits. This is the late 90s, so those cigarettes probably cost like 75 cents a pack.
Oh, I don't know, man. American Spirits were always the expensive ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were
at least in California they were. They were at least $1 or $2 more.
Yeah.
Because they're like organic tobacco and all that.
I started smoking like organic.
Yeah. There were no additives, man. No additives. It was all natural. Natural spirit.
Fucking American Spirits. Anyway, when I started smoking it, it was like a Marlboro menthol lights. It was like $2 a package in 1996. You know, so it's like.
Anyway, he'll light a cigarette, he'll take 2 drags, he'll throw it away, and in the same fucking scene, he'll get another cigarette and light it. It's like, dude, asshole. Just finish the cigarette that you just started.
No wonder you suck at detecting. You can't even finish one cigarette.
And he holds it all cool guy too. Oh yeah, you know, like when he takes a drink, cups it. And
like you're trying to sneak, smokes of pot at a concert.
Yeah, and he's got these stupid. Yeah, exactly. And he's got these stupid like straight-haired bangs over one side of his head.
He's constantly almost lighting those fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, every time he goes to light one of his American Spirits, I hope he lights his hair gel on fire. Yeah.
And he's just running around the rest of the movie, beating his own head, trying to put the fire out. Yeah. That would have been amazing.
That would have been. But there's plenty of other amazing things.
So at one point, Clarissa Nightingale and Renegade go to the fucking sawmill or something.
Yeah, I didn't understand how they got that lead.
I don't know. They keep finding out things about where these people were.
Right.
And we find out also that Gary Busey has like a whole militia of like old Vietnam vets, because also in the mid 90s, 20 years ago, it was a very different time than it is now. Nowadays, we have your salute to service that's paid for and bought for NFL
by the
advertising
Pentagon,
rights. You have your make sure everybody wears an American flag on their.
Got to be patriotic.
Got to be patriotic. Got to love and salute your soldiers, which that's all fine and dandy. I'm fine with that. But 20 years ago, everybody in movies, all tough guys, hated servicemen.
Yeah.
In Con Air, that lands Nicolas Cage in jail because people are harassing him and his lady for being a fucking pussy army guy, and he's like the fucking Lethal Weapon on 2 legs. That movie's fucking awesome.
I love that movie.
Yeah. But anyway, so like that was just the thing. It's like, let's just shit on vets because all we can think of is, Vietnam vets are crazies.
Right. So that's kind of the thing. Is it's another play on the crazy, deranged, psychopathic ex-war hero.
Yeah, and there's more explanation of that, but there's a whole gang of them.
Yeah,
and
they all follow their old leader. It's like fucking The Rock and Die Hard 2, and how many movies are there like that where there's a crazy ex-war hero who was wronged by the government, and his old soldiers follow him into madness.
Right, which that even happens kind of like in the most recent King Kong movie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a perfect example.
Like, war's over, go home. Don't worry about going to this island thing. But no, everybody's got to follow Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, it's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, they end up in this sawmill where, like, there's just, like, clean bones hanging out in the fucking little creek that leads into the sawmill. And they're just picking up the bones and tossing it in the car. And they're like dollar store decorations for Halloween.
They're all like Halloween store bones.
Yeah, they're like
and
perfectly white,
clean and white. and the rest of Lamas, he's just walking up and down the creek, like pulling fucking bones out of the creek.
At one point, he gets out of the car and he's holding a fucking hip bone.
Which he never picked up a hip bone.
It's like a fucking pelvic
He's like
bone.
tossing bones in the back seat of his little like shitty Chevelle or whatever. But they eventually find this barn. They walk up to this barn. And in this barn, it's just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. I mean, piles of human remains.
It's like the basement from the House of the Burbs. I mean,
and they're all just like, well, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And then they leave.
They don't bring any forensics to this site.
No, well, he's got a backseat full of bones.
Yeah.
What more do they need?
Yeah, they don't bag anything with gloves. I mean,
he just picks it up with his bare fucking hands, washes it off in the fucking creek, and just tosses it in the car.
And at one point, he says something to Clarissa Starling or Clarissa Nightingale. He says to her, "Well, I guess it all makes sense. The escalation." Or something like that.
Textbook escalation.
Textbook escalation. It's like, what? I think we missed at least 100 different...
Well, they say that Gary Busey's killed 60 people.
Okay.
And apparently left all of their bones in this barn.
Yeah.
Or the sawmill.
What did he do? Did he like kill them, leave the bodies that were mutilated, and debone them? because there's all these bones in the barn. I don't know. It basically is the first true moment in this movie where we're like, yeah, nothing makes sense here. Like,
nothing. I was there long before that.
I was
there in the car chase.
I was hoping. Well, yeah, that's the funny thing too. With the car chase, was literally there just to set up this tenuous relationship between the FBI agents.
I wouldn't even say that. I think it was just there for we need a car chase.
We need a car chase, right? Which honestly, mission accomplished.
Yeah, thank you.
It was spectacular.
But we got another car chase to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Because as they're leaving the sawmill, like Gary Busey's guys, who all look like, I don't know, Central American freedom fighters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Chad Guerrero over there is fucking like looking on, and you got like, I don't know, like the guy who like watches the door at the Jimmy Kimmel show radios to fucking Gary Busey, and it's like, boss, we got a problem, and it's like, deal with it.
Yeah, he's like, don't disappoint me.
Don't disappoint. So they're driving back. It's like, that's kind of crazy. We found some fucking bones back there.
Shitty Chevelle. They're driving their bone. They're driving their bone car.
It's the bone wagon. And it's like, that was crazy. What do you think? You think we got some textbook escalation? And all of a sudden, they like, you see in the background like this fucking like, I don't know, like what do they call it? Like a lumberjack truck coming with like a fuck ton of like lumberjack in the back. Logs.
It's a lumber logs.
It's a lumber log.
It's like a Lincoln log truck.
Yeah. And it starts like trying to run the guys, run our heroes off the road.
Yeah.
And so like it's actually a pretty good scene.
Yeah, it
Pretty
actually is.
Shot pretty well.
It's ridiculous, but not nearly as ridiculous as the first car chase scene. And it's actually a really competent, technically interesting and suspenseful scene.
Yeah, because it's like
if you gave a shit about the characters.
I'm looking for any reason to like stay in this movie at this point. So it's like, okay, so like basically this is happening like in the Rocky Mountains. Like I think Utah is actually where this is taking.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All the license plates said Utah.
Utah town.
Yeah, the Mormonville. So they're like, basically like they're driving along like mountain roads where there's like a cliff. And so the truck is trying to drive our heroes off the cliff, and like Lorenzo Lamas is having to like push the car like underneath and against the suspension
to keep from getting pushed off the cliff. Yeah.
And it was actually kind of like, oh, okay, I like what's going on.
Yeah, there were some really good mounted camera shot angles. There's this really cool shot of the tail, like one of the lights, the tail lights maybe from the truck.
Oh yeah, it keeps like because basically they have to match the speed or they're gonna get fucked. I mean, like hard. Like if they're going too slow, they're gonna get run over. If they're going too fast, they're gonna run themselves over.
Yeah. And
so like these taillights underneath the car keep like coming at Clarissa Nightingale and like breaks the window. Oh,
and it's kind of cool. Like it actually has this really interesting 3D effect without it being 3D.
Yeah.
It looks neat.
Like it's coming right at her.
Yeah.
And now, one thing I forgot. It's like as they're driving along before they get under the truck, they get rear-ended by the truck. And the one time it rear-ends them and it breaks the back window. And then like they get rear-ended a couple times more, and then the next time it rear-ends them, it breaks the back window again. And I'm like, how many fucking back windows do they have?
It was double paint. It was double paint back window.
Yeah, I got you. They had one of those cop windows.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is a really really fun technical gaff too. If you can see the chase car with like a chase camera car behind the shitty Chevelle or whatever it is. Like at one point,
like so what they do to get out of this is like they decide it's like, okay, lady, get in my lap, and we're gonna fucking slam on the brakes and let the truck go over us, and we'll get out of it, and everything will be great. Except for like she should have died like a billion times over, because like basically it shears the car in half, and like I said, it's like remember in like View to a Kill when James Bond's driving the front half of a car in Paris. They thought we can do better than that. We'll slice it long ways.
Yep. Take out the whole passenger side.
I thought it would have been great if they had just kept driving along. Yep. Like it was like, wow, that was crazy. All those bones.
Drive back into Utah town. Yeah, they lost all their bones.
I didn't think about that.
They did. Man, they had to go back for more evidence.
They had to go back and like, better bring a pickup truck this time.
But at this point, they're a little bit shaken. As you should be if your car just got sheared in half. and then Clarissa Nightingale comes up with this crazy plan to antagonize Gary Busey's gang of militia kooks to try and trap them, right?
Yes. Basically saying it's like based on the evidence that they've got, the leader of this gang, although they know that 12 people are raping these people.
Yeah.
So I don't know why she singles out one person, but whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. She basically is saying it's like, well, from the evidence that we've gathered, we can tell that this person is sexually impotent.
Yeah.
And he's taken out his aggression on these people and blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's when I looked at you and said, remember that scene in Silence of the Lambs when the senator was like trying to appeal to, Buffalo Bill to try to have something go their way to either save the girl or whatever. it's kind of like that, except for opposite. Instead of like instead of trying to appeal to Buffalo Bill, it's like, oh well, I'm pretty sure that he's making a dress out of a woman because he's a cross-dresser and likes to tuck his dick behind his ass.
Yeah.
It's like basically that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I would have rather watched Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
That's the moral of this story.
Most definitely. But I don't know, man. The Silence of the Lambs, they did not have the car chase budget that this movie had. So
it has 5 Oscars.
Yes, but 0 car chases. Anyway, what we have now is the plan works, blah, 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 right? Gary Busey sees it on TV because his kooky girlfriend
I want to
really
save
excited.
some time for her, but we'll
right.
just. Oh, so the kooky girlfriend's always kind of hanging around. She's like, "Hey, boss, we're on TV." So I want to talk a lot about her.
Okay.
But not yet.
But where are we at now then? What are we going to talk about?
We'll just keep moving the non-existent plot forward.
Right. So exactly right. So they see the the news, and they see the news,
which is insane that all of this talk is done over the nightly news.
Right. Exactly.
It's like
detailed profile.
It's like well, obviously this person's sexually impotent, can't get a fucking boner because he fucks this lady to death. It's like, this is not shit that the news would put on. It's like,
but Gary Busey's like, oh, I like her. We gotta get her. Let's go get her. We're gonna get her. Right. So that's the plan now. It's worked. The trap has worked. The bait has been set. So they're gonna try and kidnap this FBI agent.
I think so, because sure.
So like, I forget where they are. They're in their car. Lorenzo Lamas and Nightingale, and this is a kind of a weird scene where she's kind of coming on to him. She's technically his boss.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't really like this plan, but
they're sitting at what she like. Basically, it's as if they're trying to bait themselves or bait them with themselves.
Right.
By basically looking like a couple in a car.
Yeah, but it's dumb because they know they're FBI agents. And she's
also,
like,
all
make
of
it look good, and she's like getting all up on him, and like wanting to get all kissy faced with.
The other reason why this doesn't work is that no other cop or FBI agent in this fucking movie has a car, and they're all just sitting around the car, with their fucking giant guns.
Yeah,
it's insane. This movie's stupid, but it's also
good. But it's awesome. So it's almost weird. It's like she's technically his boss. And it kind of felt a little inappropriate behavior in the workplace to me. And I made the comment right, exactly. I understand now
it's a Harvey.
Why Harvey liked this movie, because he's like, see, women do it too.
It's like, look at that chick with the big dick sucking lips. Yeah. She's coming on to the man. I like it.
Exactly.
My kind of girl.
But I don't know exactly how it happens. But she gets snatched. You know, the van with Gary Busey and kooky girlfriend and their number one lackey.
And the guy from the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Yeah. They get her. She's in the van. Lamas loses his car. I don't know what happens, but
he's just running down a hill.
All right, so basically what you have is like a mountain road. It's almost like a switchback, right?
Yeah, it's like a little curvy road in Goldeneye, bringing back James Bond, because I'd rather watch a James Bond movie. The little curvy road that James Bond and Xenia Onatopp in Goldeneye are racing down.
So he's running like down through the woods to cut them off at each road where it switches back, and each time he's a little bit late, but he's firing the gun at the van. Meanwhile, she's in the van with Gary Busey. Gary Busey's about to get real rapey with her. In fact,
finger rapey.
Yeah. In fact, his girlfriend says something along the lines of, "He's gonna fuck you, but he's gonna make love to me. So don't you get any big ideas," or something like that.
Yeah.
Really crazy. But he does. He rapes her with his fingers, and you find out later that his fingers were bloody.
And where that came from and where this goes ultimately go anywhere.
Because they do an HIV test, because of course.
Yeah.
But they never get any results back on that.
I think if Gary Busey fingered me just with clean hands, I'd get an HIV test.
Oh my God! If Gary Busey,
it's terrifying.
If I shook Gary Busey's hand, I'd be worried. I mean, it's Gary Busey.
I'd at least check to make sure He
I
doesn't
mean,
have it up his own ass.
I'm gonna get like hand herpes or something. Oh, stink on
crazies.
me. Oh, yeah.
No,
hand cooties.
he's got syphilis. I mean, nobody can be that crazy
I
without
think
syphilis.
that's a good diagnosis, Dr. Geoff. But long story short, on this little mini car chase scene, it's not even a car chase scene. It's a man on foot chases van through the woods,
Yes.
and Lorenzo Lamas gets a lucky shot off
That goes through the window
of the van and hits Gary Busey.
Which gives her the leverage to fight him off and to jump out of the van.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, competent heroine.
Yeah, she jumps out of the van. The van drives on. Lorenzo Lamas saves her.
Yes. I don't know what happens after this. Some bullshit.
A lot of bullshit.
A lot of bullshit. Basically, at this point,
A lot of emoting. A lot of like very emo-y acting.
Basically, Lorenzo Lamas is pissed at himself that he basically put his new partner at risk. She's obviously messed up because she was basically
she's been pretty horribly violated by Gary Busey. I mean, that's traumatic. Ooh, I'm gonna have nightmares just from watching it.
Well, and what's interesting is that like they do try to tell like a whole story like before this, where why did she get into the FBI and why is she so good at it? Basically, starting with being like trying to understand victims and trying to understand their pain. And therefore using it to like basically get justice.
Yeah, but nobody gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit about that. Give me more car chases.
Yes, at least 2 more.
And so at this point, she feels like I'm just another one of those victims that I'm trying to defend. And so she feels pretty bad about it. I get that. That's fine. I mean, all of that is okay. It's perfectly serviceable bullshit 90s dialogue to help move the story forward. So at this point, it becomes a little bit of a cat and mouse game where basically the heroes and the cops and the FBI are constantly in a spot where situations lead where just Gary Busey's people just fucks with them. Yeah. Just flat out just fucking with them.
Yeah, they try
and
to
having a good old time.
They try to set another trap, and it goes amazingly bonkers.
Yeah, it's like these cops are the worst cops on the planet.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So
they don't know how to in any way, shape, or form cut off roads or create a perimeter.
Right.
Like they have no concept of this. It's all like they put all their people in one close confined area, and then there's an escape, and they have no way of capturing.
Well, they have no cars.
Yeah, and they have no cars. They're all on foot.
They're on foot. Yeah.
I think that's the problem is we have these car chases. We have all these great car chases, but there's only a few cars that are involved.
Yes.
And they had no budget for other cars.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because at one point they're trying to set up like this roadblock basically to like double check any cars that they don't expect to come in. And so this car comes in, or this van or truck or whatever comes in, and it's this old lady, which by the silhouette looks like it's Gary Busey because it's got crazy hair. Mm-hmm. This little old lady comes out and she's like, what? And then like turns out she's one of Gary Busey's people, and she's like trying to shoot people.
Pulls out a gun.
Shoots the fucking main girl.
Yeah, right in her shoulder or something.
But she's wearing like a vest or whatever. And so like...
it turns out there's a bunch of them in the van. Gary Busey and Kooky Chick are in the van, and they all start blasting people.
Yeah, and they're just like doing donuts, like just blasting everybody they can. And there's another car that's involved that they are trying to like basically stop, and they shoot it, and like our main girl, our Clarissa is like, she's like shooting, it's like and like everybody's trying to like tell her, it's like calm down. It's like it's like you're out of control or whatever, and she's like shooting, and like it causes the van to like, or the car to like shoot off into like this building where there's like civilians and stuff, and it like explodes, and it's like now she's being reprimanded for being wild and uncontrollable, and it's like basically Scheider's getting everything he's wanting out of them.
Yeah, which is weird. Like,
but it's backfiring on him also because it's her, not Lorenzo Lamas.
Right.
Like he's the cool and calm and collected one, trying to whatever.
Yeah. So it gets really convoluted with that whole storyline, and long story short, they're kind of at this point they're benched.
Yeah,
right?
so they get essentially benched, and so he's like, all right, we're benched. We're going to, but like Lamas is like, well, fuck you with that. And it's like I'm right. We're right.
Fuck you with that.
Fuck you with that business and shit. And it's like we're right. We've got the right. She's the best at this job. You brought her in for this, so we're gonna finish the job with or without you. And so like they basically go rogue.
Yeah.
And they actually like I think kind of make some headway too, because like they end up talking to David Carradine, who was part of this gang. He explains what's wrong with Gary Busey, which it turns out when he was in Nam, he bought a hooker who turned out to be a Viet Cong spy.
Yeah.
This is really convoluted, by the way.
Yeah, totally.
And like this Vietnamese hooker spy had this rubber cup that she would put in her vagina that had razor blades sticking through it. I don't know
how that works. But...
I don't know much about biology, particularly female biology. Not my area of expertise, obviously. But I don't know how you put that cup up there without getting a little bit of damage or something. I don't know. She's like, I don't know. She was probably some hardcore chick. So Gary Busey's like slipping it all in there.
Steel, and you can imagine, yeah.
It's diced his ding dong,
yeah.
And so he went crazy, which, as you would,
yeah,
I would think. And he gets in trouble at the army because he gutted.
Yeah, he disemboweled her.
Basically, like out of rage, which
the rage, Jeff, the rage.
Well, dude,
it's the rage.
Well, what would you do?
I would disembowel.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn. Also,
After
she's
my
the
rage.
enemy.
Right. So yeah, so that's exactly what happens, and he gets reprimanded for it, and now he's bonkers crazy, because he feels like, hey, this is what my whole purpose in Nam, and my people's purpose in Nam was. We were, what do you call them, walking Death Stars. We
Basically, they would go in and just like kill everything.
We were there to create a body count, as he said. Like that was our job. And now, because of this, because it created some bad press, they're just going to disavow us.
Yeah.
And so he's pissed. So he's come
and
back.
I kind of don't blame him for that.
Yes, but killing innocent people is what he decides to start to do. Right.
Basically, he ends up becoming an agent of chaos.
Yeah, an agent of chaos. He's got his death squad that of ex army dudes who followed him in Nam, who are now back in the States with him.
And one very special member of this squad. But we're getting to her.
And they're just like randomly killing.
Yeah.
And it's all leading up to what they call like the mission. There's this main objective that they're working up towards.
Yeah, so I guess we just go ahead and get to that.
Yeah. Sure.
So basically, the cat and mouse kind of continues even further because from David Carradine, who gets killed,
oh god, it's so funny.
Oh my god.
So all right, so they're at this psychiatric VA hospital, and they talk to this doctor, and because they want to get more information about Gary Busey, and because of course you go to a psychiatric hospital to get more information about Gary Busey, but they go there, they get the doctor to give them some info. He directs them to this patient of his who came in a year ago, who had psychosexual trauma and all this stuff, who he thinks maybe could help. So they talk to this guy, and it's David Carradine in this really short cameo, which no idea why he's in this movie at this point, but
because he was cheap to get, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, it's David Carradine. It's kind of fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
So he's in a wheelchair. They're pushing him down this insanely sterile long hallway. It's like, this place?
It looks like a hallway that leads to like the salt mines.
Yeah,
where they stored the film prints for this movie.
Not only that, but it looks like it's right out of like a Bond film, or even fucking Austin Powers when he's got the little cart, and he keeps like backing.
That would have been great if during the ensuing chase, that they pass Austin Powers getting stuck in the hallway.
Because what happens
my god, that's amazing.
David Carradine is spilling his guts to these guys, and then he spills his guts because this guy shows up in one of those stupid little
he's
carts.
He just looks like a Native American guy.
Yeah, he pulls out a gun with a silencer on it and shoots and kills David Carradine.
And just turns around and starts walking away.
It starts running away, and I think they catch him and kill him. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they did. I think it ended up with he ends up getting in a car and like I don't know.
Yeah, and like crashes the car or something. It's stupid. It doesn't matter. My big question is why did he have a fucking silencer? I mean, it's not like he was going all stealth.
Well, there were like a dozen people in the hallways.
I mean,
he is an anarchist. He's like basically a kamikaze at this point.
I don't understand why you just don't grab an Uzi and just Uzi the whole hallway.
Yeah, because you probably end up getting the cops too that are. You know.
You can at least have a cleaner getaway. It was dumb. And like the whole thing of the silencers.
Well, and then what's funny is though, like they're chasing down these super long hallways, and like Lorenzo Lamas keeps pushing people out of the way, and he pulls out his gun, and the other guy has a gun, and they never shoot back at each other. They wait until they get outside where a car accident can happen.
Yes, because everything has to end in a car crash in this movie.
Yeah.
Or a boat crash.
Yes. So basically, David Carradine tells them that basically they're going to go.
His dying words are where he thinks that they're hiding out,
or like, where they're headed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where they're headed. He knows their master plan. That's right.
Yeah. So like basically, he tells them it's like, okay, this is who they're going after, but this is where their base is. So he actually does tell them both things.
Yeah.
Because it's like what is it? The Gilded Pines, the Illuminati, basically is who they're trying to take down.
It's kind of like the Skull and Bones organization of like really powerful men in government,
right?
Who are actually making all the decisions of how, puppet mastering of the government.
This
works.
is an odd thing to all of a sudden introduce into this movie.
But the idea is that these are all the people in the government.
Who fucked them over.
Fucked them over. It's like the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, and
the former leader of the North Vietnam.
Yeah, and that's really bizarre.
Yeah, that's whatever.
There's a handshake between the two
generals.
generals.
We'll talk about that here in a minute. So they go to like the hideout where Gary Busey's prepared for them a little tape message. Now here's where I had a logic problem. So in the message, basically Gary Busey's like, "Hey, come up to Canada and we'll go escape into the woods."
Yeah, chase us. Come chase us.
Because that's where fucking Gary Busey lives. Let's be honest. He lives in the fucking woods at the Canadian border, just in case shit goes down. So he's like, "Come chase us. We're gonna fight this out." So he leaves this message, and they leave, and they hear in the message that's being recorded. He could hear the sirens coming because these are the fucking worst cops in the world.
Yeah.
You're going to raid someplace.
Yeah,
Let's turn on the fucking sirens on. Like assholes. So he's like, they can hear that in the videotape. Now, Gary Busey has also set a trap.
Yes.
At the end, timed perfectly with the end of the video, which I don't know how he did that because they had to press play to watch the video.
I imagine it's some sort of trigger, like a time trigger.
Looked like just a regular old VCR to me.
Yeah, but it could be all rigged up. It could be all rigged up.
I mean, this movie's got a lot of problems. This is my biggest one.
This one, honestly, is like one of my least. I could buy this all day.
Well, you had a problem with the silencer. This is my.
I did. I really did have a problem with the silencer.
Problem. So he's like. So he's like, so he set up this trap where it's like basically the video ends and the place explodes.
Yeah, it explodes.
And it's like, okay, but why tell him to come after him? And like, why did he want to like fight this out in glorious battle? Essentially,
I think he was just trying to keep him there watching the video so he could blow them all up.
But he was asking them to go fight.
Yeah, because
he wants to fight.
Yeah, but he wants.
He really wants to fuck that FBI girl.
Yeah, he does with his fingers. It's gross.
Yeah, because like she called him out, so he wants to take that power back.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
But anyway, Lorenzo Lamas realizes there's a fucking bomb. They all get out, and so they go to the Illuminati.
Yeah.
I mean, this is for real. This movie is for real.
Now it's an Illuminati meeting. Yeah.
Right, where you got like the former Secretary of State,
and they've got
Richard Nixon might as well have been there.
They've got it all set up like a woodsy kind of camping environment.
Yeah, but they go to Crystal Lake is where they go.
But they've got like these benches set up, and they have a legitimate like speakers program that they're going to kick off at like 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Because the guy gets up there and he introduces. He's like, "Yes, we've got a lot of great speakers tonight." and I'm so happy.
It's the
everyone's
Illuminati.
here
It's
for
Illuminati Con.
For Illuminati Con 1997. It's going to be the best year ever. But first,
here's the trailer to the new Avengers.
But first, I want to kick this thing off with a handshake
between the Secretary of State,
yes, and the General of the Viet Cong.
Right, who is just an old Japanese man. Yeah. Who stands up and is like, "Oh, I'm in this movie," and shakes the guy's hand like, "Oh, we're good friends now."
Yeah, we're good friends now. And everybody's like, hey. And that, of course, is when Gary Busey shows up.
And his army shows up. And he's like, bam, 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 bam. And he's like firing. And he's killing some of these old people.
They're
like
terrible.
Basically, they're just spraying bullets at old people. And old people are able to dance around them. But the FBI shows up too. And then the movie ends. Well, no.
Well, we're leaving something out.
Yeah, we're leaving something big out.
And it's I don't know. It's
a fucking boat chase is what we're leaving.
Well, that's at the end. But the one thing we're leaving out, it's a stupid subplot with Roy Scheider of Jaws, and he has an actual knockdown drag out fight with Lorenzo Lamas over all of this over all of this corruption, right? And there's actually a point.
Basically, he is obstructing justice to get his fucking rocks off to fucking stop Lorenzo Lamas from getting any credit.
Yeah, it's this weird. It's a stupid power struggle. And
this is kind of emblematic of bad action movies in the 90s, where it's like there's always a government person who's got like some.
It's forced conflict. It's just
right. Basically, it's I mean, all this is like, it's like those government stooges. The man is holding us down and keeping people from being safe and being, stopping the killers, and they're practically working with the killers because law enforcement's dumb and stupid and kills people for, and impedes on their rights. That's the 90s. That was the 90s for you. That was Waco. That was Ruby Ridge. That was all of. I mean, that was the spin.
Yeah, but anyway, so
fuck this movie.
So at some point they get like actually arrested. Lorenzo Lamas and Clarissa, I don't know,
Nightingale, whatever.
Fucking Sparrow or whatever. So they, I don't know, like
Clarissa Sunling.
So they actually escape again with the help of the Utah town sheriff, right?
Oh, that guy's
and
great.
he's great. Like he's
got all the great one-liners
in
in
a
this
performance
movie.
of his life. He's just amazing. But anyway, he helps them escape because he realizes that they're actually trying to help him, whereas
Roy Scheider is just a bureaucratic fuck nugget.
Yeah, fucking Brody is just trying to obstruct. So anyway,
well, he's trying to take all the glory from the hardworking.
Yeah, right, and that too. But anyway,
so basically they have to work their way out of that. Then,
so they're rogue,
right?
At this point, at the end of the movie.
So at one point, it's like, okay, so as you said, why doesn't the sheriff deputize
them? Yeah,
because it doesn't matter at that point if they're FBI or not.
Just legitimize them as law enforcement,
right? Yeah. And so. Lorenzo Lamas finally looks like he's about to come on to Clarissa here, and everything's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And so he basically uses that, which he does it in the women's bathroom, which is the fucking worst. But he does it all to basically handcuff her to the stall, so that she can't go with him because she's been compromised based on her own revenge.
And I mean, legitimately, this whole movie, her pants are on fire for Lorenzo Lamas. like she is ridiculous.
She's literally on fire.
She is ridiculous, and he is, to this movie's credit, is kind of playing against some sort of cliche here, where he actually is kind of stoic and not responsive to her advances.
But he goes so far the other direction that he becomes another stereotype where he's like, I'm the lone wolf. I made mistakes in the past. I'm trying to make up for.
Right.
And I'm just thinking of you as a partner, not as a get in your pants type of partner.
Right.
And it's like, Jesus, fucking just kiss her.
Yeah.
Just Jesus fucking Christ.
So they're trying to create this sexual tension, and it's I don't know, it's a small ashtray fire at best. this chemistry. I mean, it's not.
It's marginal.
Well,
I think it's what you said.
I said.
Yeah.
It's an ashtray fire that's consumed of all of his unfinished cigarettes.
In a smokeless ashtray.
Yeah.
It's the smokeless ashtray that Peltzer's trying to sell in Gremlins.
Yeah.
That's their smoldering love.
The bathroom buddy.
But she thought he was going to be her bathroom buddy.
Yeah, I know. But so he handcuffs her.
Yeah, and so basically she talks the mentally handicapped guy who runs the gas station that she's handcuffed in the bathroom to let her out and give her a car to go to the fight to win the movie.
She's going to the fight. She's going to the climax.
She's going to the climax, and so she shows up.
I gotta get to the end of this movie. Is her whole rush now.
Yeah, and so like she barely makes it because this car is a piece of shit, and Gary Busey ends up getting her.
Yeah.
And like, because she wrecks her car.
Yeah, she's
basically something happens where she ends up wrecking the car because she hits the one stooge that's working with Gary Busey, and she like basically runs him down. Like that's pretty awesome when she kind of like totally runs him down.
Yeah.
And so she's knocked out from the accident.
She's really good at getting captured by Gary Busey in this movie.
Yeah, but this time at least she took one with him.
True.
It's like I can kind of get like she just fucking plowed into like the Illuminati convention.
Illuminicon.
Illuminati-con.
And he takes her on a boat.
He takes her on a boat, and he's like hovering over her, and he's like looking into the camera.
Oh,
this
man.
clip is on YouTube. Actually, we'll put it on the website.
Yeah, this is nuts.
It's kooky.
So it's Gary Busey. Honestly, everything that comes out of Gary Busey's mouth in this movie, we have a theory wasn't written. Wasn't scripted.
It's totally.
It's just basically like, hey Gary, what do you want to say here? And if you've ever seen Gary Busey in anything, like not scripted, he says the kookiest shit off the top of his head.
Yeah, it's like that Amazon Fire commercial, which I'm pretty sure he was selling death.
Right. I don't
know what he was selling.
Crazy.
He was selling crazy, and a lot of people probably didn't buy it.
Yeah. It was really ill-advised.
It was like, a short-term.
It was like, hey, let's use mental illness to sell our product.
Here we go, crazy guy. Talk to this remote, and he's like, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Alexa, blah 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 blah.
It was pretty fucked up. Actually.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy, but it was kind of also hilarious. So anyway, so like he's like looking at her, and he's like, "You're gonna die." Yeah. It's like fear and hate and the dark side of the force all comes from the same place. And
he's
so,
like, I like your spirit.
Yeah, she's got a good spirit. You're gonna go out good. And she's just like staring at him. It's like I don't think she says hardly anything other than "go fuck yourself."
Go fuck yourself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's like, that's good. You got
like
a good
your
spirit.
You got good spirit. You're gonna die well or something.
He uses the word spirit twice in the same sentence. It's kind of weird.
And then Lorenzo Lamas shows up
in another boat.
Yes. And
so like they're basically like shooting back and forth. He ends up getting onto the boat where Gary Busey, his kooky girlfriend, and Lorenzo Lamas's fire pants girlfriend is, and he's like basically like throws Gary Busey into his flaming boat, like the boat that he used to crash into them, and now it's on fire.
And she knocks out and kills, drowns basically kooky girl.
I didn't see in any completion. I'm looking for a sequel.
She could still be alive.
Yeah. So then now Gary Busey is not just crazy, basically unstoppable, but also on fire.
He's on fire.
He comes in and he's like, I'm on fire now. I'm going fire.
He says, this is easily my favorite line of the movie. This is by far the best thing in this movie that Gary Busey says. He says, I'm on fire. I like it. As he is like engulfed in flames. Like he's burning alive. And that's what he says. It's phenomenal. And then he spouts a bunch of other really kooky, incomprehensible.
I'm on fire like hell, and I'm going to take you to hell.
I'm going to take you to hell, and I'm fire.
Kooky stuff.
It's nuts.
And he ends up dying.
Yeah, because he's on fire.
Because he fucking is on fire.
But then he's not only is on fire, but he's even more on fire. Because
because
he's on fire, he lights a gas can.
Yeah,
on
Lorenzo
fire.
Lamas uses like a harpoon to stick into a can of gasoline, which then sprays out onto Gary Busey, which causes Gary Busey to explode.
Yeah, so he's like, so he gets more on fire.
Yeah, it takes double fire to kill Gary Busey. Which double I think fire. Is actually accurate for life, too.
That's probably true. Double fire. At this point, he might be up to triple fire. Yeah. Triple fire explosion.
Triple fire Gary Busey.
Oh, man.
So, now, but we're not done yet.
Nope.
Because you can't just kill the bad guy and take all the glory.
Not in a 90s movie.
Roy Scheider has to show up and basically hold them at gunpoint and basically plans on executing them to take the glory of stopping. Which I don't see Roy Scheider getting into any firefight.
Oh, and by the way,
Gary
this
Busey.
Whole movie, he's wearing essentially a version of his Sequest uniform.
Yeah, it's this really weird 70s director look. It's what he wore in all that jazz.
Yeah,
as Bob Fosse.
Yeah,
he's wearing the jacket that's got the extra
it's like a
pockets.
it's like a leisure suit, but with lots of pouches
and an outside belt.
Yeah. And in a turtleneck.
He's basically playing Bob Fosse again.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Except it's black, so it's supposed to be all tactical. Yeah, it's weird. But anyway,
weird, man.
Carry on.
So he's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and Lorenzo Lamas like, "No, you're not gonna you're not gonna kill us." and that's when Sheriff Guy comes through with a fucking headshot through the neck,
perfect
and
shot,
kills Roy Scheider dead. And he has a good line afterwards.
Oh, what did he say?
He's basically like, "Call somebody, pick up this trash. We ain't no litter.
We ain't no litter bugs. Yeah,
litter bugs.
We ain't no litter bugs.
Yeah.
Pick up this trash." It was Jaws' revenge that day. So that's the movie. I mean, this is...
Yeah, it fades out with Lorenzo Lamas finally kissing Clarissa.
They finally kiss with all the chemistry.
And then there's
garbage fire.
Oh. Yeah. It's all the chemistry of napalm.
But the best thing, the most inexplicable thing about the ending is there's a card of what happens afterwards.
Oh my God! There's
information.
4 or 5
and there's
cards.
4 cards of information.
Basically all the charges were dropped against them.
Yeah.
They are now teaching. There's a class that they spend for each.
A 2-day class.
The Gary Busey and Roy Scheider characters.
Yeah.
And they're expecting a child. Also, when they kiss, also she's like, "Do you know what today is?" And he's like, "Tuesday." And she's like, "It's Valentine's Day." And he's like, "It's not even February." Yeah. And she's like, "But it is for us." And it's like, "Fuck you." And then it's like, "Fuck you, Sidney J. Fury." We're going to talk about that guy, too.
It's almost like she just finally wore him down.
Yeah, it's like, God, I guess. And then he's like, kisses her, and he's like,
kiss. Fuck.
I guess. I guess we're going to fuck now.
They go out of their way to tell you how their lives end up for the next few years,
and they had no chemistry.
And it's like, why do we care? I mean, the movie's over. Thank Christ. Why do I care about this?
I want to know what happened to the crazy girlfriend.
Yes. So there's 2 things I think we need to talk about before we wrap this up.
We need to talk about Sidney J. Fury.
We need to talk about Sidney J. Fury. That is absolutely right. And then we need to talk about Jeff's favorite part of this movie.
What do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with kooky girlfriend.
We're gonna end on down note, huh? Okay.
Well,
so all right, no, we'll talk about it. So right from the beginning, I'm like, ooh, I think I kind of like this girlfriend character because she's like wild and crazy, and she is loving the life that she leads, and it is a bonkers life.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she is in it with all these crazy Vietnam vets who are killing people. She's helping people rape people. She's getting in on it. She's probably doing a lot of the mutilating.
Yeah.
And she is into it. And she's crazy dressed. She's got this.
She's the craziest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got black hair. She's got a nose ring, and she's wearing her leopard jacket with her leopard bra, and she's like, "Man, I'm really loving this."
She's putting her boobs in this guy's face before she kills him.
And
it's
I'm
nuts.
it's I appreciate her zeal.
Yes.
And it just gets more later as each scene of progresses with her in it, she gets more and more crazy. She is constantly wearing like these really like tight like finger curl wigs.
Yeah, I think if we go back and look, which I'm not looking at watching this anytime again soon, but if we go back and look, I bet you she has got a different wig in every continuity scene.
She doesn't actually.
Oh, damn.
Because so there's 3 looks that she carries forward.
You were really paying attention.
Yeah, I really was, because she was fucking captivating. She was fascinating. So she has her regular black hair.
Okay.
So she's like normal, like bad girl from the 90s. You know, because black hair equaled bad in the 90s. Or it equaled cool douche guy.
Yeah.
She had blonde curly wig, and she had red curly wig.
Yep. Those are only 3?
Those were the only 3 looks she carried forward. But she also had kooky ass like outfits.
Yeah.
Like at one point she's wearing like the silvery like
leotard thing
with a silvery like skirt and like workout shoes and like the little leg warmer socks.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, she is like it's like they plucked her out of like the early 90s to be in the late 90s, but she's also crazy from the time travel. It's the only thing I can explain to that.
She's crazy because, as we found out, she is actually married to Gary Busey.
Yes, and god damn, that's fantastic. I'm sorry that they broke up. I'm actually like I think we got a pretty good view of what their real life was like in this movie.
I agree.
Like going around the country, like killing people and just creating chaos and anarchy. But later, so like basically every time she was on screen, she's like, yeah, we're killing people. And you end up dubbing her Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And that was perfect because Gary, like I said later after you dubbed her that, it's like if you replaced these characters with Batman characters. So you take out Lorenzo Lamas and put in Batman. You take out Lips McGee, Clarissa Nightingale, and put in Batgirl.
Yep.
Then on the other side, you take out Gary Busey and put in the Joker, a.k.a. Gary Busey.
Right.
And then you have your Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And it's still the same movie.
It's the same fucking movie.
It's the same fucking movie. I mean, you take you have the Roy Scheider character would be some sort of like Amanda Waller or some other type of character who's trying to disparage vigilantes, but you know, like also kind of a dickwad government stooge.
Yeah.
And the our favorite guy, the
Utah sheriff.
The Utah sheriff is Commissioner Gordon.
Absolutely.
This is the same fucking movie as this is a rejected Batman the Animated Series television event that got turned into a Miramax movie.
Yeah, and all of the like heightened sexuality like turned up at like to 11.
Yeah, basically it's like, well, now we're making a movie.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, like it's so at the end when they're like raiding the when they're raiding the Illuminati con. And she's like wearing this super cute like little fatigues with a little beret and like her face is painted. Actually, she may have had a blonde hair at that point.
She did.
And so she's like, hey! And it's like, they get on the boat and she's like shooting like this grenade
launcher
at Lorenzo Lamas. And at one point,
with maniacal glee, she's doing
this. Oh my God. I love this. Like, she was so into it. It's like, and that's the great thing about like when you have a villain that's just like totally committed to the role. It's like, I love that shit. I mean, oh God. It was kind of like watching like Emperor Palpatine in episode 3, like just getting into it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, just fuck it. I am into this. Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't scream ultimate power. But at one point she's like shooting the grenade launcher back at Lorenzo Lamas, and like it kind of like wings his boat or whatever. And she turns to Gary Busey. She's like, I got him. I got him, Mr. J. And I guarantee you that if there was a post-credit scene that was edited and hit the floor, she was picked up by the government. It's like, all right, we've got this team that we want to like hook you up with to stop Superman.
Yeah.
Here's a baseball bat. Have at it.
Yeah.
You kooky, wonderful lady.
You'll figure something out, you nutso.
Here's Will Smith. And he's like, hey. Yeah. Oh, my God. She was a joy to watch. I mean, like, I don't know. She might have been really kooky and real. I mean, like,
she was married to Gary Busey. Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And she's, like, probably, like, Jake Busey's age. So it's like...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic.
So good. All right.
I mean, I love that lady. And I looked up her name. She was in other Gary Busey movies.
They said they did about 2 or 3 movies together.
Yeah. And that was really about it. I mean, they were all like those direct-to-video type shit. But go ahead and talk about your thing.
My thing.
Because I don't want to talk about Sidney J. Fury.
Well, all right.
Because I've had a run-in with him. Not in real life, but like just historically chatting about movies.
Oh, you guys have a feud? You and
sure.
Sidney J. Fury. Okay, so first, this is a weird one for me because like I keep calling this movie The Fury and not The Rage, and then Geoff was like, "Oh my God, the director is Sidney J. Fury," and like, "Well, that's weird." But anyway, this guy. Geoff was kind of like, oh, I know that name. So we looked him up, and sure enough...
Oh, just real quick, Tiani Warden is Harley Quinn's name.
Tiani Warden. Yeah. Is she still alive? Because she looks like she's
probably
on a fast track to Crazyville.
She's probably in an insane asylum. It doesn't say whether or not she's alive.
Anyway, so this director, just like, I recognize that name, and sure enough, it's because he directed Superman 4. The Quest for Peace, the Canon Films disaster. And Geoff's written about that movie on his B-Movie Enema blog.
Yeah, woof.
So we dug into his filmography a little bit more, and it's kind of weird. Like, he had a pretty good start to his career. He won a Palme Award or nominated for a Palme Award for the Ipcress File, right?
Right, which is a pretty good... I think that's a... if I'm not mistaken, that's a Homer Simpson movie. That's the character's name.
He made some pretty good movies. He made Enemy Mine, which
that's a good one.
Is not bad, and I think Scorsese at the time called that the scariest movie you ever saw, or something like that. No, not Enemy Mine. I'm sorry, The Entity.
Oh,
The Entity.
Oh, wow.
That's totally different.
Well, there is that one scene that they cut out of Dennis Quaid ass fucking the alien Louis Gossett Jr.
or by a ghost. But anyway, yeah. So The Entity, which Scorsese at one point in time called the scariest movie he'd ever seen. Which is, he was kind of on the fast track of he was making good movies, or at least movies that were respected by respected auteurs.
Yeah.
And then The Jazz Singer happened. And we're not sure exactly what his relationship with this movie is. He's listed as uncredited, but Geoff was saying that he has read that there was the first director on that film spent shot 50 hours of just unusable footage.
Yeah,
and got canned from the film, and we think it might have been him.
I'm looking it up right now, so go for it.
And that kind of was, he never really made a serious film again that I can tell. It's all kind of like genre schlock. He did have a couple hits. I mean, he made Iron Eagle, which I love that movie. I mean, the Queen soundtrack alone is enough to get me, pretty excited about watching that movie. I think it's a pretty fun piece of 80s Cold War, trash. Pretty fun flick. But yeah, he didn't do a whole lot of note other than that, and he made this movie at some point along the line, and he's credited not only as director, but he's story credited.
Yeah, story by him,
which is pretty fucking bizarre. Not quite sure where this came in his creative. I don't know where it came from in his creative brain, but anyway, that's kind of the pedigree on this thing. I don't know how Miramax picked it up. I think the mid to late 70s, mid to late 90s there. they had a couple hits, but they weren't exactly, the juggernaut they were by the time, like Goodwill. I don't know, what was Goodwill Hunting? Was it 97, wasn't it?
Good Will Hunting, 97.
So they probably picked this up for distribution. Like
I'm
before they really hit it.
Well, they had already
Pulp
had
Fiction had given them credibility.
Well, really, what gave them credibility was The Crying Game.
Oh yeah.
In '92, but they had done other. I mean, they had been around for a little while, and I mean, but it was they started to gain power because the Weinsteins had been making movies since the late '70s.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were power players. I mean, they co-produced one of those horror movies that kind of make cash in and quick buck. They made The Burning.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
very good. I guess you're right. Like, I mean, by the late '90s, they were kind of at the top of their game.
Yeah, and so like they were basically just kind of. I mean, with The Crying Game, which I think that was the one that really kind of broke them into serious award like contenders and pushing for awards. Which, of course, when you get into '98, the famous. Did they pay for their best picture?
The Shakespeare in Love,
over Saving Private Ryan. Me personally, yeah, and I don't have any problem saying that because Harvey Weinstein's a fucking monster.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's just because I saw both of those movies and thought Shakespeare in Love's okay. Saving Private Ryan's a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can argue that Shakespeare in Love should have won Best Picture that year, but it's actually a better movie than I remembered it. I watched it not that long ago for a class, and it's actually really well written, but still not Best Picture.
Right. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you can split hairs on a lot of Best Pictures.
I mean, there's no universe where that should have beat Saving Private Ryan for Best Picture.
No, and I'm trying to think of some of the other movies that were nominated in '98, and none are coming off the top of my head. But like, I can understand how Titanic beats L.A. Confidential, or if L.A. Confidential won that year, how it beat Titanic or Good Will Hunting. Right. I mean, those things you can wage how certain things can win over. It's like Annie Hall winning over Star Wars.
Yeah.
As much as you may not like that, or as much as people may complain about stuff like that, But anyway.
But the point
Fury
is,
was the person who was replaced on the Jets.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I had to be. So here we go. Like, I guess the point is why this movie from Miramax at this time. It's pretty bad. But
also pretty amazing.
But what's weird is that they put Dimension on it.
Dimension makes
sense.
Shit.
Like, that makes sense. Dimension is like Bob's sort of thing, and he's the one who loves like the stupid schlocky horror.
Right, and he's the one who knows how to buy something cheap and turn a
profit. Right.
I mean, when we looked this up, I showed you a picture, and it's like, here's what the VHS box looked like.
And we remembered it immediately.
We remembered it from working in our old video store days. So, I mean, this is something that was cheap to buy and easy to sell to video stores because video stores always needed
Miramax
something.
is all over this DVD art. I mean, it's right at the top of the headlining credits. It's right on the back. It's nuts. It's like, wow, they really marketed themselves on this thing, and that's strange to me. But whatever.
I mean, I think why not? I mean, when you have Gary Busey and Roy Scheider above the title,
sure. I guess.
Fucking go for it, man.
I guess.
I mean, but again, it's like, how much do they own of it now? Because this is a Echo Bridge home entertainment release.
Right.
And, like I said, you could probably get this for less than $5 on Amazon now. You might even be able to get a used copy for $1. Or less.
What it might be interesting to test that, because it could be so difficult to find that it's like out of print at this point. Like, I'll have to ask. I'll have to ask Kristen where she found it, because it might not even be in print.
Well, shit, you might be able to just find the whole movie on fucking Amazon or on
YouTube or something.
Or on YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean, just there for free if you have an account.
But that said, I mean, I don't know if you're looking for some kind of stupid bullshit crazy movie that doesn't have quite the charm of Raw Force, but has a lot of what the fuck moments, then go for it. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's a fun movie to watch. It'll be a fun movie to sit around with your friends and check out. I mean, it's kooky, it's schlocky. The characters, I mean, the bad guy, particularly Gary Busey and
his ex-wife.
And I mean, Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I mean, they are in it to win it.
Yeah, they're
just
worth
all
the price
in.
of admission for sure.
And you know, Roy Scheider plays that good, like, oh, he's such a slimy bad guy, but
he's barely in it.
But he's really barely in it. I mean, when he shows up, he looks like a smug prick.
Lorenzo Lamas mopes through this whole thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like the main girl, she's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, she's stock. What passed as '90s feminism?
Yeah,
you know, I mean, she's fine. But really, it's Gary Busey and Harley Quinn to watch this for, because they are just so enjoyably bad.
You could make a really, really awesome 40-minute edit of this movie, of just probably even less, like 30-minute edit of this movie of just the ridiculous action scenes and everything with Gary Busey and his ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Car chases and the bad guys. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And because they're just laughing through the whole. I mean, it's like, seriously, it's like it's the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's truly, and they are having the kookiest good time of their life making
right.
this movie.
And Gary Busey is just as sexual as I want the Joker to be.
Yes.
Which is not at all.
Right. He's uncomfortable at every turn. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he does bad shit. I mean, obviously, we cut that one scene out. But I mean, like, do I expect the Joker not to be mutilated below the belt? No, I legitimately expect him to fuck up his own genitals.
I'm on fire. I like it. I like it.
Anyway, so I mean, so let's rate this out of 10 fiery car wrecks.
I'm gonna rate it out of 1 out of 5 rages.
1 out of 5 rages. So, wow, that's a low rage.
1 out of 5 rages.
I'm gonna give it. I'll give it 2 fiery Gary Buseys.
2 fiery Gary Buseys. How many car crashes?
How many car crashes out of 10?
Out of 10.
4.
4 car crashes?
Well, and because I'm giving 2 car crashes to Harley Quinn and 2 car crashes to Gary Busey.
All right. And I'll give it.
Oh wait, I'm gonna give it 5 because the fucking the first car chase is fucking amazing.
It is. I mean, I give it 10 car chases.
10 car chases
for the first car chase, because
it's a perfect car chase.
It is the jewel of this movie.
It
really is.
I mean, actually, if that's all you want to watch the first scene.
Yeah.
Where Gary Busey's with Harley Quinn at the beginning,
and then immediately following it is the car chase.
Following it is the car chase. If you turned it off after that, you've seen the best parts.
You've seen the best parts, yeah.
You've seen all that you need from this movie.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, if you want to continue and watch the rest of the 75 minutes or so that's left over, you're not going to be terribly disappointed, but I wouldn't watch it alone.
Yeah, it definitely...
I'd watch it with friends.
It definitely peaks early.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I give it, 1 out of 5 rages, I give it 1 rage, because it's the rage, and that's singular.
Oh.
Yes.
There's no multiple rages.
There's no multiple rages. It's the rage.
Well, and I wouldn't even say that Gary Busey's rageful. And certainly Harley Quinn is just in it to win it, man.
They really.
She just wants to be there.
They really should have called this the Glee.
The Glee, yeah.
Because they're super excited to be killing people.
I wish this is what Glee was. Yeah. I would have watched every week if that's what that was.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, you know what it is? Sorry, we'll go out on this. It's a stupid little thing.
Yeah, go for it.
The Clarice Sparrow or whatever, her she reminds me of the chick from Blood Drive, that sci-fi show that's kind of like the Grindhouse thing. She looks just like her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first thing I thought of was just Juliette Lewis, because she does look like mid-90s Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
I think probably a little bit more collagen, which is saying a lot because Juliette Lewis already kind of had a mouth.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, yeah, I can buy it. I'm into that.
Awesome.
So let's close out here. Where can we be found, Mr. Oliver?
Oh my goodnesses, we can be found all sorts of places in the Tubes area. We could be found on Facebook. Look for Film Seizure. We could be found on Twitter. We're at Film Seizure.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're also even on the Instagrams now at Film Seizure.
At Film Seizure.
I heard rumblings that we are also on something called Tumblr.
Yes, a Tumblr where you can get all of your porn and probably some not
They're
good.
kind of known for porn, right?
Well, they don't have the filters that the others do.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting porn on it. We're not putting porn on there. I mean, this is just where you can go and you
We're
can
not
find.
like against porn or anything, but
No.
but we're not really promoting porn.
We're not promoting it, but we will promote our own stuff on the Tumblrs where there is porn.
Right. And we also have filmseizure.com.
Yes, absolutely.
And a Gmail account. You can send us an email at filmseizure@gmail.com.
Yes, and you can also find me at bmovieanima.com. There's some exciting stuff going on over there now that I'm kind of back into the swing of things.
And I think now, am I right, Geoff, that we're on a weekly schedule?
We absolutely are. So, yeah, I mean, we started off the show on a bi-weekly schedule, just kind of, give us the chance to make sure that we had content out there that we could get ahead of ourselves because, we have day jobs. I mean, this is just our hobby.
Yeah.
For better or worse, it's our hobby. And so now that we've gotten kind of a backlog, we decided to move to a weekly schedule, which gives us not only a lot of different options to stay relevant, but relevant. But I mean, I don't know if we're relevant.
We just watched The Rage from 1997.
Yeah, but
how's
also
that for relevance?
But also we're checking out new movies too. So
definitely.
I mean, it gives us the chance to
gives us some flexibility to move things around.
Yeah, and I mean, we're also staying on top of like just content in general, both on Facebook and on the website itself. So I mean,
and we hope that you're digging what we're doing, and we want to give you more of it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to give you 30 odd feet of our grunts.
I don't understand that reference.
It's Russell Crowe's band.
Oh, okay.
30 odd feet of grunts. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. I totally just farted that out of my mouth. I'm not cutting that out.
Thank you so much for listening.
Yes,
this is Film Seizure.
Yes, and I'm Geoff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver.
And have a good one. We'll see you next week.
I want you to know, I have no problem respecting my enemy. And I know you don't either. It's there in your eyes right now. Respect, tragedy, fear, loss, they all come from the same place. I like you. I really do. And I promise, I'll make your death slow and sweet. Come here. Come here. I want to tell you something. You can cut me. You can fuck me. You can even kill me. I don't even fucking care. Because you can never, ever defeat me. You sorry ass motherfucker. That's the spirit. You're gonna go out with a good spirit, and I'm proud of you.